Do any of you guys know that one guy that the second he gets a car, he runs to AutoZone and he throws all the little gimmicky plastic stuff all in his cart and then runs back and is super excited to work on it, and all he can do is just add on little gimmicky things like stickers and little chrome badges and neon lights and just all kinds of doodads that you just look at him and you're like, just leave it alone. It's fine the way it is, just leave it alone. Well, one of the previous owners to this new car did that. With the 74 being gone, of course, I got a new Corvette project for you guys to watch me fix up, and I'm going to call this one the Autozone Special, because that's really what it is. I mean, just all kinds of doodads everywhere. I paid a lot more for this car than I did for the last two. If you guys follow my channel, you remember that I brought a 77 Corvette back from the dead, and I also brought a 74 Corvette back from the dead. Now this car already runs, drives, and stops, but like everything I work on, doesn't really do it that well. Let me go ahead and start with the engine bay. I'll give you a tour of that. Here is the number one area of concern for me. Basically the area of the car that's the most AutoZone aisle 5 that you can get. So there's a lot of good, there's also a lot of bad. So we'll start with the good. So I'm actually a fan of the valve covers and the air cleaner. I think that's good. It has aluminum Edelbrock Performer intake and carburetor, which is nothing wrong with any of those. It has a higher amperage alternator, it has chrome pulleys, and the best part, it has a SPAL radiator fan setup. It's exactly the same as I have on my 73. The only issue is his wiring habits weren't that good. Luckily, I can figure that out, but it's nothing that I can't not fix. Also, it has hooker headers, which, as you saw, come out to the side pipes. Good stuff. There's some of Bubba stuff, so all these stupid braided hoses, I can't stand those. I'm going to get rid of every single one of them. Get rid of this stupid alarm box thing that's pointless. I'm going to get rid of that super coil and all that kind of blah blah blah. It's just dumb. It really doesn't do anything. And of course, the stickers and all this gobbledygook wiring's got to go. I'm going to spend a lot of time under here, but it's got a lot of good stuff. Another thing, he decided that an external transmission cooler was better than the transmission cooler that is inside the radiator, which is stock. I'm going to go ahead and put the stock piece back. You can hear my chicken going. Oh, and then stupid stickers everywhere. I hate this kind of stuff. Get that crap out of here. Nobody needs it. This is Chevrolet. This ain't no Tri-5 Chevy. Everybody knows that. It says Edelbrock on each valve cover and on the intake and on the carburetor. Why do you need it to say Edelbrock on your brake booster? That's got to go. Take this off. That's got to go. I don't care if it's stock or not. You're not a NASCAR. It's in a NASCAR. You don't need the stickers all over your car. That's got to go. I'll clean that up a little bit more later. That stuff, garbage. Let's walk around toward the front of the car. Right now it's really dirty and it's going to need some love. I've already made a list of all the things that I want to do to it. Go around this side. Next, let's move on to the interior. I've got to show you guys this. Take a look at these. Aren't those like the worst seat covers you've ever seen in your life? Believe it or not, with the exception of the seats, this car actually has a pretty decent interior considering it's all from 1977. It's a standard interior with the vinyl seats and stuff like that. But if you can look past those ugly seat covers, all I'm really going to have to do is a steering wheel, side panels, maybe the column cover. I'm going to have to do some armrest patches on these door panels. But I think I can... the carpet I might replace just because new carpet's always great. And it's not that expensive, but I think I get away with quite a bit Something rare you'll see is that the car has crank windows, which was unusual by this point. I kind of like it because it's less to break. Some more Bubba doodads besides the seat covers are these ball vent outlet things. Super weird. Of course, the radio that doesn't work. This one-piece top. Gonna get rid of that. I have the T-tops. But if you take a look back here, okay, 2 speakers in the dash aren't good enough. We need 4 more in the back with an amp. I don't know. Corvettes are such a small deal that there's no real need for it. Let me show you guys. Stuff like this is what scares me. Wire nuts everywhere. Anyway, all that's got to get ripped out. But it does have good bones. Something I might do on this car, I might not, is that the doors on this car are actually the worst part paint-wise. The rest of the car is pretty much decent. I have an extra set of doors, and I'm considering painting them black and then putting them on. All see-through doors are the same, so I'm not worried about any of that stuff. Here's the other side. It's the worst part of it all. Big old chunk. I just don't think they prepped it very well. But like I said, AutoZone Aisle 3 Special has been the worst underneath the hood. You know, the hood pins, all the stickers, the crappy wiring, all the steel-braided garbage hose, all that kind of stuff. It all just needs to, it just needs to go. And that's what we're going to do. So this is the first kind of introduction video on it. But it's going to make a really sweet car once I'm done with it. I'm not sure if I mentioned the fact that this guy has a freeze plug leaking right above the fuel pump. And he put a fuel pump on it. So how do you not see that there's a freeze plug leaking, right? So that's going to be issue number 1, is to get that sorted out. And while I'm there, I might as well replace the thermostat, do a coolant flush, check the hoses, all that kind of stuff. So I believe today we're going to focus on the engine bay. Alright, number 1 thing we're going to do, I'm going to work from the front to the back, is this horn. Why would you mount the horn there? Mount the horn where it's supposed to go, in the front. Oh, maybe because you put that stupid transmission cooler in there. Well, the horn's still going to fit, and that's where I'm going to put it. Also, I'm not going to use a house wire nut in order to do it. I just don't like the look of just all these wires just going crazy. Now, he did, like I said earlier, he did get a good radiator fan kit. And I like to mount it and do it a different way than he did. These 2 relays I usually like to put up here. The grounds for them I do not put on the radiator support. I put them down at the bottom where you can't see them. The power lines, I don't even know what he did. Anyway, that just looks goofy. And then the key on power wire nut, and then it goes and just ties into this, which is like, really? So I'm going to reroute all this and do the horn. And then from there, we'll continue on and pull that box out and all that kind of crap. Here's the finished product. I'm going to tuck this away with the rest of the wires so it doesn't hang out, but it's correctly connected. It's heat shrunk. The horn's actually inside there. You can't see it. That's where it's supposed to be. And the test. Okay, it works. Sounds weird, but it works. So, cost on that, 10 cents. Yes. You guys ready for this next level bubbiness? The plan is I'm going to run these wires underneath so you can't see them the way they're supposed to be. I'm going to probably put the ground somewhere different. Next is these yellow wires. Look at this. These go to the battery, and this is how I connected them. Yes, really? Next is these temperature sender wires. Basically, what these do is they tell the fans to come on at a certain temperature. There's not much I can do about those other than splice them together correctly. And then last is this ignition power wire, which I will be running into the fuse box. But I'm scared to go in the fuse box because if you look at the battery, well, that's just a mess. But luckily, it can all be sorted out one wire at a time. I think most of that is for the stereo, which I don't want anyway. But yeah, these yellow wires are actually supposed to run. I like to put them on the starter. This is my car. Let me show you how I do this. So I put my relays up on the firewall, and then I run the yellow wires over to this side, over here. I attach them to the fuses, and then from there they go to the starter. Also, I have my temp sender in my radiator, which makes it much easier. And then my grounds run down there, and you can't see any of it. It's all loomed up really nicely, and that's the plan for this car. And of course, you see the orange wires, they go back into the cabin, into the fuse box. So, yep, one of those things that if you don't take the time to do it and pay attention, it's going to look ugly when you're done. It has been a couple hours. This is all the stuff so far that I've pulled out. But if you remember what it used to look like, I'm not 100% done. I still have to put fuses on these and run those to the starter. But where I want to put the fuses is right here, where that stupid box thing is, which is next. But check this out. Look how much nicer that looks. I mean, it's not perfect. I still have this stupid wire to get rid of, but look at that. That's so much better than it was. I think I might tuck these here under here, just so it gets a little bit cleaner look. Here's that wire that goes to the sender for the temp gauge. It's a lot less obvious when it's not bright orange with two crimps in it, and it looks just like that. Much, much better. There's no house wire connectors on it, anything like that. I mean, this didn't take me very long, and it looks a heck of a lot better than it used to. I mean, like I said, ignore this, but other than that, I mean, it's just clean all the way down. You can actually see the dust shield. It's not covered by random wires everywhere. So that's the plan with the rest of the car. I think next I'm going to pull this stupid alarm box. I'm afraid to see what is going on underneath the dash with that, but I've taken out alarms before. I usually just put back together the stock wires, and you can tell what came on the car and what didn't. So that's next. Here's the rat's nest that I pulled out from under the dash. This is just for the alarm. This isn't for the stereo or anything like that. It looks like they had some kind of kill switch or something in it, but yeah, gotta go. None of that is worth being in this car, especially if it's going to cause an electrical fire or it's going to stop the car from starting one day. The junk pile has grown. The reinstallation of the fan system the correct way, in my opinion, is done. And as you can tell, the only way you really know that you have fans besides the obvious fans is these fuses right here. Other than that, it's all covered. Now, here's a better view of the engine without the air cleaner on it. I'm going to get rid of that because it's ugly. I'm going to replace that because it's tan. Tan's not a good color for anything, except maybe sand. I'm going to get rid of all these stupid braided, I mean, it's just rubber underneath them. There's nothing wrong with rubber. Rubber's just fine. The only one I might leave is going to be this fuel one. One, because it deals with fuel, but two, it looks a lot better. It's new. You can see how nice that line looks and just how crappy that one does. I mean, they don't look good, guys, so anyway, looks like I'm going to need a thermostat gasket. I can squeeze this hose and see water come out of that. So, but that's no big deal. I think it's just because housing sucks. I might get another one of those, but yeah, little by little it's coming together. I'm just happy to have all that out of the engine bay.